Hey guys, you're the press. Come up to Lisa's right.
I said from east to west. I said from east to west. Ford State is the best. I said from east to west. I said from east to west. Ford State is the best. From black to white. I said from black to white. Ford State does it right. I said from black to white. I said from black to white. Ford State does it right. Ford State does it right. I said from quad to loquacious. I said from quad to loquacious. Ford State is bodacious. I said from quad to loquacious. I said from quad to loquacious. Ford State is bodacious.
I state your name, do so solemnly swear.
I, Porter Langdon, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of this state,
and the Constitution and laws of this state,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent on me. As, please state your office.
As Secretary of State.
According to the best of my ability and understanding.
According to the best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you.
So this week, I'm sure most of you know, parents will inform you, in the mythical 51st State of the Union, Louisiana Boyd State, there is a hurricane approaching the coastline. So our newly elected governor, Mr. Cole Billiot, will now say a few words in our press conference.
On Wednesday, the 28th of June, the leaders of Louisiana Boyd State were informed by the National Weather Service of a Category 4 hurricane that will hit approximately at 9 p.m. tonight. Since then, precautions have been enacted within every city and parish. Across the state, every resource complex has been fortified to ensure the protection of our assets, with the exception of a few cities that will be hit more heavily. Each river will be detained as best as possible, with some levees being built higher, to include Central River, Cross River, and the surrounding area of Lake Stone at a first priority basis. Evacuation routes have been decided on, and as of now, I am declaring a state of emergency, making evacuation mandatory for the following cities: Franklin, Vermilion, and Point Coupee, with citizens of Vernon also being strongly advised to move. Now, as your governor, I assure you that while a state of emergency has been declared, emergency does not describe our disposition or our resolve. The very best of us have gathered together to create all the contingencies for the crisis. I want to personally thank all the parish presidents and their emergency managers, the emergency preparedness committees of the House and Senate, and my state emergency manager, Graham Frazier. Our coalition formed the Emergency Preparedness and Readiness Plan that contains our actions for the following concerns: evacuation, medical services, federal assistance and funding, and statewide citizen support. Hurricane Daniel will hit Kane Parish first, with the city of Franklin being hit the hardest. Citizens of Franklin will be evacuated to the city of Tangipahoa of Tecumseh Parish, with the city of Tammany as a contingency. There, the American Red Cross will support these evacuees who aren't sheltered at the regional hospital, with allocated funds of other parishes' surpluses and federal relief funds to ensure the best care for our citizens. And the same model will follow to the two other cities impacted by the storm's trajectory: Vermilion and Point Coupee. Vermilion citizens heading to Concordia and Orleans, and citizens of Point Coupee also heading to Concordia and Cameron. All damage report estimates have been submitted and will be accounted for sufficiently, even in the worst case scenario. What will ultimately carry this out in the most effective way will be our parish to parish partnerships, which truly have shown the brotherhood that now encapsulates all of the Louisiana Boys State. The parishes of Atchafalaya, Bogafalaya, Mississippi, Tecumseh, and Pearl have gone above and beyond in generosity by offering resource after resource to the parishes in need. The legislature has drafted a series of bills that will regulate cleanup policies, jobs for the put out of work, and has organized for the National Guard to facilitate all evacuee routes and cities. In addition, the elite Pearl Team 6 has been mobilized to meet our needs. The sites of most potential damage have been identified. For example, the ports of Franklin and Vernon, and Franklin's industrial parks. And plans have been laid out for reconstruction, allocations, and community support, which is the topic I will close on. As the best thing citizens can do across the state is, of course, watch out for floods, but also get involved. Donate, participate, and help elevate our brothers post-storm. There'll now be a time for questions.
So Hurricane Daniel is going to potentially cause millions of dollars in damage. So how do you plan to provide relief support for the people affected? And how do you plan to rebuild the parishes?
Thank you for the question, and that is a major concern, considering that at the beginning of the week, each city and parish started off in a debt crisis. But that being said, I think I can speak for all of us when I say we've worked our butts off. Hard work. And the labor that has produced the fruits that we bear now are surpluses. Each parish, again, the parishes that I listed that will be helping out those in need, have greatly advanced in the right steps in the right ways. That surpluses such as Atchafalaya with over 150 million in assets, Pearl with 17 million, and more. That being said, these funds before we would reach for federal assistance, would cover the cost of reconstruction and cleanup and whatnot for medical services of those in need. But then again, in turn, we would also call for federal assistance as well.
During and after the hurricane, what is your projected number of resources lost? And how would you plan on building them back up? And how would it affect the state economy as a whole?
So in terms of what will be lost, again, each one of the parishes had submitted their damage report estimates, with each one of them having their own specific needs. And of course, the parishes of Kane, Sabine, and Tensas being hit more so than any others. Theirs, for example, Sabine would estimate that they would have $35 million in costs. But again, the exceedingly growing surpluses from the other parishes, as well as the federal assistance we're going to receive, will help cover the damages to Sabine, Kane, and Tensas. Now, in terms of how this affects the state economy, now the ports that cover the coastline from Kane, specifically Franklin, will be destroyed, and they've invested heavily into that, including Vernon. Now, Vernon, while not being a city being forced to mandatorily evacuate, has been suggested due to the large investment that they just placed in their fisheries and their ports as well. So those will be our first priority in reinvesting in as soon as the storm is over, including the industrial parks of the area as well. With the plans that we have laid out, we should be right back on our feet. It'll take a little bit, of course, to clean up and get things back running and going, but effectively the economic output would resume just as before.
So the national government has kind of historically ignored many of Louisiana's pleas for relief aid during storms, most notably during Hurricane Katrina. How will you ensure that both the Louisianian government and the American government will work together and actually assist the people as opposed to ignoring them?
That's a great question. Thank you. I would say that more so than anything, Louisiana Voice State has stood for two things when it comes to what we've gotten done. That's innovation and ingenuity. Now, how that applies to the nation as a whole, what we've accomplished from city to city level, from parish to parish level, resembles our state in such a way that we can greatly contribute to the federal government and the nation in terms of our plans and how we've been able to achieve the things we've achieved. So if they choose not to help us, it'd be like not helping one of their best assets. Now, in terms of the history that we've endured before with Katrina and other hurricanes, those were efforts that, hopefully would serve as an example for them that let's not let history repeat itself. Any more questions? All right, thank you, John.
Give one more round of applause for our government. All right, just a few moments, we're going to break out into our academic session. Before that, we figured we could treat the parents to a little bit of what we do in between our academics. So S.C. Pittman is going to lead us in a couple sheets.
All right, guys. We're going to show the parents why we are the PEST best. So everyone stand up, let's get ready. We are the PEST best, better than the REST rest. We're gonna wear our voice state right on top of our CHEST chest. We're gonna walk our IND line because we're mighty FIND defined. We're gonna wear our voice state right on top of our CHEST chest. Good job, good job, good job. All right. Now we're going to show them the voice state song, all right? So 1, 2, you know what to do.
Louisiana Voice State, sing your song. Louisiana Voice State, 1,000 strong. Around Louisiana, there's a mighty crowd of us, and we're proud of Louisiana, and she's very proud of us. We're the best, we have been blessed, we passed the test, we beat the rest. Louisiana Voice State, the best.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, I need everyone to turn ever so slightly and face all of the lovely moms that came to visit us tonight. Boys State, let's serve them up a hot plate. One, two, three, you know what to do.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Good job, boys.
Thank you, SC Pittman. All right, so without any further ado, you guys grab a seat real quick. We're just going to explain next problem consent, so everybody's on the same page. So in just a minute, we're going to release one academic at a time.